first poem today is by the American poet Andrea Cohen. I first read this very short poem a short while ago as a meme on Facebook. I welled up initially, and still can't read it without it conjures profound sadness for the people I've lost to death, especially recently. Interestingly, I read it aloud at a fundraiser for the Trussell Trust, organised by my dear chum Nifa Putnam, and people laughed. Regular listeners will know that I celebrate the fact that poetry is as ambiguous as music and can convey meaning independently of the poet's intention. However, I was puzzled by the reaction to my reading and blamed the way I'd read it. I've since seen a discussion of the poem on Reddit, largely comprising vehement comments about the poem from folk who believe the poet is bitterly maligning her late mother. I'll put a link in the comments. I think the opposite. I think this is a person who had an intimate and light-hearted relationship with her mother. The two were used to banter. A person who was commonly deflated by her mother would have long since ceased to give her opportunities to demean her daughter. Those of us who have had close, loving relationships with people now dead often have vivid conversations with them, especially in those moments before waking, when dreams are most commonly remembered, and in the dying sparks of that illusory reality, we can pretend that they're not dead for a few moments. The committee weighs in. I tell my mother I've won the Nobel Prize. Again, she says? Which discipline this time? It's a little game we play. I pretend I'm somebody. She pretends she isn't dead. Few of us have uncomplicated relationships with our mothers. I've chosen this next poem by the American author and poet Raymond Carver. Ironically, despite his mother's admonition, he didn't take good care of himself, and he did eventually succumb to cancer. Mother. My mother calls to wish me a Merry Christmas, and to tell me that if this snow keeps on, she intends to kill herself. I want to say, I'm not myself this morning. Please give me a break. I may have to borrow a psychiatrist again, the one who always asks me the most fertile of questions. But what are you really feeling? Instead, I tell her one of our skylights has a leak. While I'm talking, the snow is melting onto the couch. I say I've switched to all bran, so there's no need to worry any longer about me getting cancer. And her money is coming to an end. She hears me out, then informs me she's leaving this goddamn place. Somehow. The only time she wants to see it, or me again, is from her coffin. Suddenly, I ask if she remembers the time Dad was dead drunk and bobbed the tail of the Labrador pup. I go on like this for a while, talking about those days. She listens, waiting her turn. It continues to snow. It snows and snows as I hang on the phone. The trees and rooftops are covered with it. How can I talk about this? How can I possibly explain what I'm feeling?